Hey, what's up everybody? Astralboobaby here. And you know what? This video is kind of a follow-up to my previous one. I had originally called it Faggot, but I changed the title because unfortunately, and it's exactly why I do what I do and why I say what I say. Some people they're stuck. They are stuck to the point where they don't listen. My point is to show and prove time and time again why I am all about encouraging self-love in spite of. Because there are those of us out here who cannot appreciate and wrap their minds around self-love because they're caught in their emotions, their religious beliefs, and their egos. And so this creates a barrier around their minds where they cannot see nothing but preserving their self-righteousness. Too much of anything is not good for us. I may even disable the comment section because, again, I want people to listen, hear what the message is conveying, feel what I'm saying here. The reason why I'm doing this is because my last video, I basically shared some very personal information about myself, about my life, and what the consequences of it was. Not because of anything someone witnessed that I had done wrong, and not because I'd done anything wrong, but based on a perception. And in the video, all I'm saying is because I didn't fit into an expectation and I didn't see the world based on how the majority has told or conditioned me to believe, that I became an outcast and misfit and a target, and faggot was the term and word often used to inflict harm and to shame me, particularly in the African American community. I am considered by many people an African American or black person. And within the community, there is a common mindset that as a African American or black person, male, you are supposed to conduct and be a certain way. And when you don't live up to this, you are often seen as weak, as a faggot, or gay, whether you really are or not. And even if one is still no reason to attack, vilify, crucify, abuse, and beat down, and all of this other madness because you don't agree with the way someone conduct or live their lives. So the video is about misfits from the perspective of one who has been treated a certain way because of a perception more than anything. The point is the perception, and even beyond the perception, when one is gay, the way that one is treated because of it, and it is not right. All of us are doing things that someone or some other group will see or perceive as wrong. What is wrong or right is a matter of perspective. I don't care what anyone says. That's what it all boils down to. But even still, we should be looking at what we have in common and find a way to live in harmony instead of keeping this insanity and keeping this self-hatred and this feeling of unwantedness. We're not getting anywhere with this, particularly in the African American community. We're not very open to diversity, a lot of us. And that's a fact. Anyone who gets upset, oh well. I don't live my life trying to conform and fit into somebody else's ideology or someone else's belief system. I'm living an authentic life, and I'm encouraging brothers and sisters to do the same. Someone came in and turned that last video all upside down. They didn't hear that I was sexually abused, and when the adults who were supposed to protect me found out, they attacked me and kept the abuse going in a different way. They did not hear that I was systematically called faggot based on a perception. They didn't hear any of that. All they heard was me promoting homosexuality when I said nothing about sex between anyone other than mentioning that I was sexually abused. You see what I'm talking about? You see exactly what I'm talking about. So those of us who are gay, those of us who are abused, those of us who are misfits, deal with that kind of mentality all the time. And I'm very passionate about it because this is what drives people to suicide. This is what drives the gays and the lesbians to drink and do drugs and have wild, reckless sex. Like I said, the promiscuity. They're looking and trying to compensate for love because they are not getting it from their community. When you're black, it's hard enough living in this world. When you can't get love and support from the very community that you are a part of, that has a very long history of discrimination and hate and abuse and murder, you can't get it from that. Where does one who fit or who is perceived in such a way, where are we to go? What are we to do? Trying to bend and make ourselves fit into this narrow-minded expectation contributes to a dying spirit. So I am, yes, encouraging, if one is gay, be who you are, love and honor the person you are. But I'm also encouraging anyone, whether they be black, female, a brainiac, a nerd, whatever or whoever you are, where you are, honor and love that person. Because when we love ourselves unconditionally, like I said, the universe will reflect that, and we will attract and bring in people, situations, and opportunities that will help us live in a way where we are living an honorable life. But people are not comprehending this because they're stuck in emotion. They're stuck in feeling that somehow anything other than what they are comfortable with or what reinforces their existence is somehow going to be a threat. No one can threaten your existence unless you give it permission to be. How is someone being gay or being effeminate affecting your life? What is it taking from you? If you were to get real, nothing. I live my life as a celibate person. I'm not for promiscuity, but I see this all around me, and I'm looked down upon because I'm not out there screwing around from both perspectives, gay and straight. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's right, but I'm not going to sit here and constantly bash and beat down someone who's doing that. That's their right, that's their life, that's their free will, and that is their path. All I can do is show by example a better way. Now, yes, we see a lot of us constantly focusing on this so-called gay agenda or this feminization of black men. Yes, I see this. Yes, this is very real and very viable. But what does that have to do with those who are inherently gay or effeminate? That was always, and that has always been. We tend to mix apples and oranges. Just because there is a gay agenda does not mean that some people aren't really gay or were meant to be gay. That does not mean that some men aren't and some women aren't naturally masculine and some men aren't naturally effeminate. It does not make them a bad person. It does not make them evil. It does not make them less of a man or woman. We have this very warped concept and idea as to what a man and a woman is. Just because somebody act hard, look hard, and lay down and screw thousands of women does not make them a real man. I can tell you, as someone who was effeminate and still have feminine ways, I get hit on more and have gotten hit on more by that ideal image of a masculine man. What do you have to say about that? The person who sexually abused me lived up to your ideal of what a real man or woman is supposed to be, because I've been abused by both. Many who are gay and bisexual, transgendered, have been abused by these prototypes that the majority of us seem to be really comfortable in approving and clinging to. I'm just going to keep it real. I'm speaking from my heart because somebody has to do this. This is ridiculous. We are not going to evolve as a civilization, and we are not going to evolve as a community if we don't deal with the real. Now, coming back, because this is so layered, I can go so many ways with this. Coming back to the effeminization of black men and the so-called gay agenda, let me make you mindful of the fact that those who are behind these things are the same ones who promoted and pushed the hyper-masculine image as well. This is the same mentality that is pushing that a real man is identified by how many people they can screw. But I don't see a lot of y'all being upset about that. Where I'm going with this is that both sides promotes an imbalance. And an imbalanced man or woman cannot be a balanced conduit or host for the yin and yang. And when this occurs, everything else is thrown out of balance. Since you guys want to keep talking about nature and what is natural, let's talk about that. What do you think happens when we live in a world where female fetuses are aborted because there's a preference for males to build and strengthen armies to create more death, murder, and destruction through wars? What do you think happens naturally as a result of that? This has happened. This is happening as we speak. What do you think happens when the feminine or female principle is suppressed and repressed? What do you think, or how do you think nature responds to that? You see, sometimes, agenda or not, sometimes the choices that we make in thinking that we're doing the right thing is really what is contributing to the very thing that we are objecting to. When Mother Nature finds a blockage, she finds an alternate route. Yes, the masculine host is dominated by masculine energy, and the feminine host is dominated by feminine. This is the basic prototype for this particular existence. But because of the imbalance, the suppression of the feminine, and the over pronunciation and the overt promotion of the masculine, we have an imbalance. And so what has happened is, because of this, you have all of the symptoms of the imbalance. From a metaphysical perspective, effeminate males, masculine females, is a byproduct of the suppression, misuse, and abuse of the feminine, and the overt promotion and personification of the masculine. The energy has to be balanced. So yes, so the feminine energy finds itself in, and it's finding itself more in the masculine body, because the masculine has been embraced and preferred. You have a lot of masculine energy that is within the feminine host. This is a byproduct of your imbalances. And so in an indirect, ironic way, if it were not for this, this planet probably would have been destroyed a long time ago. So the very vessels that you're attacking and hating on really is picking up the slack from where we failed in honoring the masculine and feminine in their balanced polarity from the beginning. So we don't want to even go there about unnatural nature, because I see this from a higher perspective. I speak from a higher perspective. And this is why I talk about how abusing sexual energy, be it male or female, is unhealthy. I don't just pick and choose based on what's natural to me to present to the world. Now I hope that my passion is felt. I hope that we can begin to understand that we're not going to always agree with one another, but we must learn to respect one another's opinion and differences of expression. And for those of us who are made to feel less than, be it gay, bisexual, black, female, the nerd, the loner, the brothers and sisters who can see this facade for what it is, whatever, the non-religious, the atheist, every single misfit, every single person who is constantly made to feel less than, evil, wrong, sinful, bad, all this psychological nonsense. Own and love who you are. Honor the person you are today, because we are evolving. The person you are today may not even be the person you're destined to be. But the point is honoring who you are today so that you do stay on the path that will magnify you and help you to realize your fullest potential. Balance is the key, people. And by the way, if we are going to express our point of view in a vlog, listen to the entire vlog before we go off and posting. Again, listen, people. We can't grow and learn if we do not listen. Get emotions out of the equation. Get your personal biases out of the equation and try to walk a mile in someone else's shoes, even by thought. Try to understand the perspective that is different from yours. This is where true wisdom comes from. If you don't like to be hated on, ridiculed, discriminated against, attacked, vilified for who you are, then you should not be a part of an organization or group that is doing that to another. Especially to people who are doing nothing to you or who have taken nothing from you. And that's all I'm going to say about that. My next video will be about my views on true spirituality. So be looking out for that. And as always, you are loved beyond measure. And I have to say this because there are a lot of people who don't hear this. They've never even heard anyone say they love them, which is contributing to self-deprecating, self-hatred, self-loathing. That's why I, Astralboobaby, tell and say what I say. You are loved beyond measure in spite of what anyone else says.